Well, happy summer, you guys. It's finally getting warm here in Chicago. Took us long enough. It's time for Caleb Williams to pull out that mesh tank top. Today, we actually have a very packed episode, which is surprising for an episode in June. There's lots going on in the NFL, so we're going to break down what coaches are talking about this week. We're also going to talk about Frank Ragnow and some Madden and College Football 26. And guys, if you're not inside playing video games, I hope you're outside on a boat not thinking about football at all, just like Stefon Diggs. From Wondery, I'm Johnny Agar, and this is The Offensive Line. Welcome to The Offensive Line, you guys. We're here to make some picks, talk some shit, hopefully make you some money. Before we get into this episode, I have to tell you guys we have a fan favorite coming back on, reoccurring guest. I don't know if it's fortunate or unfortunate that he was available. My brother, Johnny Agar. There's a lot of Lions news to talk about, so we're going to get his full reaction, whether it's good or bad. Before we get into that, though, we got a lot from this past week to go over. There's a lot of football news happening, which is surprising for the month of June. So we're going to start it off with a what they said versus what they meant. This is probably one of my favorite segments we do on the show because it just allows me to break things down for you guys. There's a lot of coach talk that goes around, so we like to tell you what they actually meant around here. So I'm going to read off a quote and or paraphrase a quote of what someone said this week. Could be a player, could be a coach, and then I'll break it down to what they actually meant. Starting with Mahomes on Kelsey's retirement rumors. He said, if it's the last ride, you would never know. He doesn't seem like a guy that's in his last ride or he's tired of his job. This is what Mahomes said on Travis Kelce. What he actually meant to say was, there will be another offseason with 24/7 speculation on whether or not this man will retire, because just like Taylor Swift, he enjoys drama. The only person who knows if this is his last ride or not are the people closest to him, the NFL refs. Guys, I'm over this drama, just like I'm sure you are as well. Will he retire? Will he not? Did he gain weight this offseason? Where is he now? I don't care, all right? Play the game and move on. Staying on Mahomes, let's talk the Olympic flag football team. Mahomes this week came out and said, I'll probably leave that to the younger guys. What he meant to say was, do you even watch my games? I basically play flag football every Sunday. So don't need to see more of that, am I right? All right, moving on from that, let's talk a little bit of Packers talk, because there's a lot of news on the Packers this week, unfortunately. Matt LaFleur said, and this was on Jordan Love, if he did or did not take a step back last year. He said, I mean, what is a step back is what I'd ask. This is like sitcom talk, okay? This is exactly what someone would say about someone that took a step back. But I'm going to defend it, all right? What he actually meant to say was, if you want to see what a step back looks like, watch our receivers. And if I hear one more person compare Jordan Love to Jay Cutler or call him Jordan Cutler, I'm having a full-on crash out. I would too, Matt, MLF. I would too, okay? Because this is absolutely ridiculous that we're speculating with this. I have stats, guys. I brought up some receipts, okay? First of all, Dan Orlovsky tweeted this out this week. We're gonna take a little side avenue here, a little rabbit hole. Dan Orlovsky tweeted out 5 QBs finished top 10 in QBR in each of the last 2 seasons. Guess who they were? Guess who came in at number 4? J Love. Jordan, don't know his middle name, Love. All right, it was Pat Mahomes, Lamar, Josh Allen, Brock Purdy. You'd assume probably the 3 of 5 of those. Jordan Love's on there, guys. Let's just calm down, okay? He also had banged up lower extremities half the year, and his receivers couldn't catch a pass to save their lives. So in that respect, I don't think it was a step back. Now, here's my theory, okay? When you pay a guy coming off his rookie year the way that we did, the expectations were sky high. So if he took a step back, it's in terms of the expectations we had for him. Did he live up to those expectations? No. But this isn't like a CJ Stroud situation, okay? This is a very different situation because of how we paid him, because of that rookie season. I don't think that he took a step back. I think he fell short of our expectations a little bit because we thought we'd put him up there with names like Josh Allen, like Lamar. Maybe not that soon, but you know what I mean. The expectations were a little bit too high and he was a little bit too low. I have some more stats though, and this is from my guy, Warren Sharp. Love the man. He does his research due diligence, if you will, on Twitter. On early downs among 46 quarterbacks, Love ranked number 4 in yards per attempt, number 5 in EPA, and number 8 in success. Okay. The man, the stats are there. And I know everybody's like, oh yeah, watch the game. The receivers sucked, you guys. And do I think that we have 5 wide receiver ones? I'm not going to go there. You guys have been asking about that and our receivers and Matthew Golden. I don't know what the receiver situation is going to be like this year. I just know last year the stats kind of back him up a little bit. Okay. And in terms of receivers, on 3rd and 4th down, Jordan Love lost 28.2 EPA due to receiver errors. If you want to see a step back, look at our wide receiver room. Moving on, let's talk Bears. There are other teams in the NFC North. Ben Johnson on Caleb's body language, you guys. Ben Johnson called out his quarterback this week, paraphrasing here, by the way. He said Caleb Williams needs to improve his body language. Okay. He basically said it about the whole team. Bears fans, don't come for me. But as a quarterback, that was the name he brought up. Okay. You're the leader of the room. What he meant to say was, I've seen too many memes of Caleb Williams slouched over on a bench somewhere after a loss. Okay. He needs to be a leader of men. Right now, the only place he's leading people is to Sephora. I agree, Ben. I'm fully on board with that. Okay. Let's fix the little pity party, the memes, as much as I enjoy them, as many Caleb Williams memes as I have on my phone. I'm with him. He also said, and this is direct quote, he said, we don't want to be a palms up team when where we're questioning everything. No. To me, that's a little bit of a sign of weakness. So he just doesn't want to show everybody that they're down and out, even though they are down and out. It's great coaching. Great leadership from Ben Johnson. Lastly, you guys, actually, we have two more. Next up, Fields on the expectations with the Jets. This is one of my favorite quotes this week. He said, I can be great. I think the sky's the limit for the team, for this offense, but we have a long way to go. That's the understatement of the century, Justin. What he meant to say was, if the sky's the limit, call me Chicken Little, because it's getting a lot closer and looking a lot more like 5 wins. I would agree. Sky is the limit in terms of the sky being a foot off the ground, okay? 5 wins is great for you guys. So maybe that's the sky for you. I don't know. Lastly, Jalen Ramsey. Guys, he got a little cryptic. He got a little wide receiver 1 on social media this week. He put out a cryptic tweet ending with a new chapter awaits. That is a direct quote. End of the tweet said, a new chapter awaits. Of course, speculations ran wild on social media. Why wouldn't they? I'll give you mine, though. What he meant to say was, after calling Josh Allen trash and then being 0-6 against him, he wants to get the hell out of that division. And I'm on board with that. I think, you know what? You do you, Jalen Ramsey. He has also, guys, burned every bridge that he's ever crossed over, which is not surprising because he's used to getting burned. So, all right, those are my recaps of the topics, the trending topics in social media and in the world, and what coaches said this week is, we got to break it down. You guys can't get confused with coach talk. I'm here to analyze it for you. Now, you guys, let's move on to the NBA Finals because there are other sports, believe it or not. This is a big time. The NBA Finals matchup is set, and the league may not be too happy about it, you guys. We are Mid-America Blue Bloods teams going at it, okay? This isn't to say it won't be a fun series, but they're 2 small market teams, and it's not great for business. I'm sure the NBA is slightly concerned about it, so that got me thinking. That'd be like if the Jags played the Bucks in a Super Bowl, okay? That's maybe not a direct comparison, but that's about as close as reading. Who's watching that? Maybe for the history of the Jags playing, but no one's going to be excited about that. Are people excited about this NBA matchup? NBA fans, let me know. Basically, pick any Thursday Night Football matchup, and that's what this finals might feel like. So I came up with a couple Super Bowl nightmare scenarios, okay, of teams we would not want to see in a Super Bowl. The top one, and this probably seems pretty self-explanatory, Jags versus Panthers. Probably 2 of these smaller fan bases, and I know Jags fans are going to come for me because that fan base is loyal. It doesn't mean you're big, though, okay? You can be loyal. You can be a loyal fan base. The Pacers are loyal, I'm sure. But it doesn't mean you're a big market fan base. Jags, Panthers, it'd be a brutal watch, let me tell you right now. Another one, and this might shock people. I liked this one when I came up with it. Rams versus Raiders. They're 2 relocated teams. I just don't know how those fan bases would be. And Rams, we already saw what their Super Bowl grade was like. So that'd be interesting. And lastly, Titans versus Cardinals. And I do this all the time in my videos, you guys. Everybody complains I don't incorporate the Cardinals enough. It's because they don't do anything unless they're firing their head coach. There's nothing exciting that happens usually in Cardinals games other than Kyler Murray, and I make a lot of fun of him. And then the Titans, which is another very small fan base. They couldn't even name. Did you see that schedule release video with the Titans? They couldn't even name any of the fans. Couldn't name any of the other teams. Hilarious. Or based on their logo. You saw the video. Lucky for the NFL, they don't have to worry about those basically ever happening. So good news, Jags fans. You don't have to worry about us roasting you being a Super Bowl because you probably won't get there. All right, you guys, let's move on to some more trending news. Kyle Pitts is in the news again. Arthur Smith is shocked. No matter how good we think we are at playing armchair GM, we wouldn't last a day in a front office, right? Probably true. However, the roles have reversed for once. The fans are here to tell GMs that we actually know better than them, and it comes down to Kyle Pitts. I saw an article the other day saying teams are interested in trading for Kyle Pitts, you guys. Why, you might be asking yourself? Some are saying they'd need a second or a third to think about dealing him. He had one of the best rookie seasons. Like, if I tell my kids someday something amazing that happened in the NFL, I'm going to revert back to Kyle Pitts' rookie season, okay? He became the second rookie tight end in NFL history to record 1,000 receiving yards. He hasn't quite lived up to that number 4 pick yet, though, guys. The regression is insane. And you can blame Arthur Smith, whatever the case may be. It's not good. So it's time for a special edition of I Can Fix Him. However, I'm going to say I can fix them, talking about NFL GMs. Every year, you guys, we are willing to risk our credibility in the fantasy football world by clicking that draft now button right by Kyle Pitts' name. I know a lot of you have him in your franchise leagues. I know you do. And it's an issue because then every year we inevitably end up tweeting out Kyle Pitts finally scored a touchdown and it's like week 10. The utilization is ridiculous. I know there are the arguments out there, okay, that Kyle Pitts can't get open. He struggles. He doesn't look like he did rookie year. I almost said freshman year. Mind you, he was getting thrown the ball by Desmond Ridder, who has the accuracy of a stormtrooper. I understand that. I get all the references. I get all the Arthur Smith talk, okay? Then everyone's saying that the Falcons shouldn't trade him because they have no other pass-catching tight end. Michael Penix Jr. and him have a connection. Yeah, what is that connection? Was that the pass in the end zone? Oh, not the one that scored a touchdown. No, the one where he tipped it into the defender's hands and it was an interception. It's just a lot of question marks out there. I don't think NFL GMs have lived through the pain of drafting Kyle Pitts in fantasy, and I'm here to tell you it's not fun. Okay, that's where we might know more than GMs. Look at the Jets kid. Okay, maybe he was onto something. Maybe the Madden ratings have something to do with it. Anyway, guys, I could go on for that. I could go on a long time about that. And maybe Pittsburgh should get him back because Arthur Smith unlocked his potential so well. Okay, guys, coming up next, Johnny is here to talk Lions. For the first time on the show, it may be me tormenting him, and I cannot wait. Stay right here on the offensive line. All right, guys, welcome back to the offensive line. Joining us now, Lions Superfan, my brother, Johnny Agar. Welcome back.
How'd you let me in here again?
I know. I cannot believe it. Well, John, the good news is I'm glad you were available this week. It's been a while since we've had you on, and we had to sound the Johnny Agar Lions Den alarm with all the news that happened this week, starting with your guy, Frank Ragnow, has retired out of nowhere, kind of. We knew his body had been taking a couple hits, but this retirement, I'm shocked I didn't get a text from you yesterday with a bunch of crying emojis.
Yeah, because I wasn't crying, and we'll get into that in a minute.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I did tweet out a meme. It was like, I think it's Arrested Development or something, where it's somebody being comforted on their, like, sitting on the toilet crying, and then the guy's comforting her with a broom, like 10 feet away. That's me right now with you, like comforting you from way over here. So first off, let's talk Frank Ragnow. This is an insane stat, John. I don't know if you saw this on Twitter or not. For 5,541 snaps at center, he allowed 6 sacks. That's crazy. And what's even more crazy about this is when you think of the immobility of Jared Goff. That's crazy to me. That's wild.
Yeah, that was crazy, but he was the steady presence in the line. You know, he was the old guard. He was drafted before the Lions were good, and he was the steady presence that everybody looked to. You know, he was the guy that could loosen the guys up and be ready to help them whenever they needed help, and really brought along Taylor Decker and Penny really, really well, and was the glue to that line. And the center is the person that's responsible for all the protections and making sure that the line has all their assignments well. And so Jared Goff could be clean. And when you lose a guy like that, the most ideal thing. But I think what people can take away from this, I was looking at Twitter and it was like Taft was playing, everybody was so sad and everything. But I would tell people that I would think that a bigger problem would be if we lost Hank Fraley, who was our offensive line coach and our run game coordinator, because he has a reputation for cross training all of his linemen. So your center would then have the opportunity to train at guard, or your left tackle would have an opportunity to train at center even. So he has a lot of different ways that he can maneuver this. I saw recently that our one of the linemen that we just drafted, who played guard for Georgia, Tate
Ratledge,
has been taking reps at center. So we
second rounder. That's what I was gonna say. Is they're primed for this? Like, it's not like they were unprepared, right?
Right. This was in the hopper for a while, Annie.
Yeah.
And the Lions are a very forward-thinking organization. They're not just going to go at this blindly and say, "Oh well, Frank Ragnow retired. What are we going to do now when free agency's over and the draft is over?" They drafted Tate Rutledge and Frazier, the lineman from LSU, with this in mind. And everybody didn't think that they would draft linemen, but they're apparently smarter than all the other fans that are on Twitter. And so,
do you think he retired too early? Do you think this is what is it
no,
with Detroit Lions
I think
players
it was
retiring?
a calculated decision by him. He never takes anything lightly, and he said in his announcement that his family is precedent to him, and he has, I believe, a kid with one on the way, and so it was time for him to hang it up. And with all his injuries, you could definitely see that he wanted to be there for his kids, and that was the most important thing to him. So I respect that, that football is not life, okay? People have families too, so.
That is not the case with us, John. We have nothing other than football. Maybe that's why we're both single, huh?
Players can do that, but fans can't. So.
Right, exactly. Well, John, it sounds like you're not worried at all, which is
no, I'm not. I'm not worried. Jared Goff will be just fine. Taking apart the Packers like he's always done. So.
Oh, great. Just get that dig in there, why don't you? I really thought when I had you on today, it'd be more so me taking digs at you, but this always is the case. And unfortunately, all of my followers basically agree with you. They're on your side, which is kind of annoying. But who else isn't worried, John, is Dan Campbell. This was a quote from him.
I'm not worried about that we don't have pass rush. I'm not worried about that we lost 2 coordinators. I'm not worried about the injuries. I'm not worried about the Hall of Fame game. I'm not worried about the schedule. I think it's perfect.
What is your reaction to that quote?
I think what they're doing there is they're very confident in their process and the way they go about things. And they're not reactive to what happens in the now. They're focused on the future and what players they do have, and they react accordingly. And I think that's the hallmark of every winning organization is whatever comes their way, they're more adapt to those kind of situations.
Yeah.
If that
I see what you're saying.
Sense. Yeah.
Very, very logical thinking is what you're saying. Okay. Well, around here, as everyone knows, you and I don't think very logically sometimes. So that leads me into this fun little game we're going to play, John. I hate to break it to you, but your team and the margin of error might be on thinner ice than you think. The Super Bowl window might be slightly closing, as much as you do want to disagree with that. But how close to actual total collapse are you guys and our other teams in the NFL? So we're going to play a little game and we're going to give ratings 1 through 5. Okay. 5 being like 1 injury away from total collapse and 1 and drafting in the top 5 and then 1 being nowhere near total collapse. Like they're pretty safe. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes.
All right. Let's start with your Detroit Lions. On a scale of 1 to 5, how close are the Lions away from collapse?
1.
So let me. Yeah, I knew that was good. I knew you were going to start there. I'll start because I am unbiased.
No, we don't need you to start.
Yes, you do. You lost your OC, your DC, and now you're all pro center.
I don't care.
And we're not worried about a total collapse, John. Everybody's left. Your super window is so close to closing. It's a little slit.
Until Dan Campbell tells me no, I will believe in that man until I die.
Yeah, but that's your issue is he won't tell you no. You're delusional. He will never, he could have 3 guys left on the roster and he'd think it's Super Bowl, you're Super Bowl contenders. The man eats, sleeps, and breathes football. He's not going to ever admit that you're not close to a Super Bowl. I have to be the voice of reasoning here. I'm going to give you a 3. I'm going to say you're a 3 on the scale.
Of reason.
What? How rude. That's probably true, actually. So you're giving them a 1. I gave them a 3. All right, The Eagles. Eagles, on a scale of 1 to 5, how close are the Eagles from collapse?
I'll put that at a 2. They lost Jason Kelce, same kind of avenue as the Lions have now, and they turned out pretty good.
That's a good
So
point.
I'll put that at a 2. I don't think that they're going to have much of a drop off. They got Saquon still. They have a defense that's respectable beyond belief, and how he knows how to draft. So
yeah, I know. I'd probably put them at 2. I wouldn't say 1 because I don't think there's a possibility of potential collapse.
Yeah.
But because it's a tough division too. Like Jane Daniels, the Commanders now. We don't know anything about Dallas, and Giants we'll just forget about. But I'll put them at a 2 too. I think that's reasonable. All right, this is gonna be a fun one. The Bengals, on a scale of 1 to 5, how close are the Bengals from collapse?
They're my 3. Okay. They're actually, I'll put them at 4.
Yeah.
No, I'll put them at 3.
Okay.
Because the Bengals haven't shown me too much yet, but I think they have a lot of pieces that they could have a lot of potential in them.
Yeah.
They have T. Higgins, they have Jamar Chase, which is always going to be your staple, but X factor for them, I think, is Joe Burrow and their defense.
Yeah.
They got to get the whole Trey Hendrickson situation.
Oh, they have to get it figured out. It's ridiculous.
If they don't have Trey Hendrickson, then I put them at my 2. I'm
going to put him at a 4. I think I would put him at a 5 if it weren't for Joe Burrow. Because last year, and he came out this week and said, he said in a presser, he said, we wouldn't be in this position if I did a better job. Which, as a leader, great thing to say. But absolute delusion, and every football fan knows it. Because this man balled out last year. They were 9-8 after allowing 434 points, John. There's only 3 teams that allowed more points than that last year, and that was the Browns, the Titans, and the Jags, 2 of which picked in the top 10, or top 2 of which picked in the top 3. Yep. The issue with this is their defense, obviously everybody knows that, is atrocious. They're going to have a slow start again. Zach Taylor's like the worst coach to start out a season. They're wasting Joe Burrow's, the best year of Joe Burrow's life. It's like when you're in a bad relationship in your 20s. This is the best time in your life. You can travel, you have no kids, you have no responsibilities, and you're wasting with that loser?
Yeah.
That's how I feel about Joe Burrow. They are steps away from total collapse.
If it weren't for Joe. Bad for Joe Burrow, and I don't want to admit it, but the Bengals are a few pieces away from winning a Super Bowl, because
one of them being a huge Trey Hendrickson deal.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me that they haven't figured out yet.
Yeah,
all right.
That's crazy to me that they haven't figured that out yet. And
so we're leaning both toward potential collapse from the Bengals.
Yes.
All right, Patriots. This is a fun one. Patriots on a scale of 1 to 5.
Patriots are 5.
Really? I'm shocked with that. Do tell.
I'll put the Patriots actually at a 4, maybe.
Okay. Did I just totally impact your decision?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay, explain your reasoning.
I would say that they have Mike Vrabel now. They have, if Stephon Diggs spends less time with his models, then I think.
Oh, John, they can't keep Stephon Diggs in the building. They can't even keep him on a Pilates mat. I don't know if you saw this week. Right. Did you see that? He fell off the Pilates machine. The storylines just write themselves. But I would put him at a 4 too, because they have made a ton of additions to their O-line. Drake May performed really well. He was like the only guy on the team that did well last year. And they have Matt Collins, they have Stephon Diggs. Like they've added guys to their secondary. They're making changes. However, the one big question mark I think is their pass rush. I was reading an article this week. They struggled with their pass rush. It was ranked last in the league with 28 sacks. They added Milton Williams on the inside, but the edge still kind of is a question mark. So yeah. I would say, I don't know, because there's a lot of potential. I would say 3. You can say 4. I would say maybe 3.
The Patriots are the most interesting team to me. They have the most room for growth, but they can also really, really stumble.
Yeah, they can suck, basically.
Yeah.
All right, it's basically right in the middle. They could go either way. It's going to either be total collapse or it's going to be great. So Patriots fans, have fun with that one. Okay, lastly, John, the Chiefs. On a scale of 1 to 5, how far away are they from collapse?
I would say that's a 5, and here's why.
Wait. You got to make sure. 5 is close to collapse. 1 is away from collapse before you tell your answer. Remember.
I would still say it's a 5, and here's why.
The Chiefs?
Yeah.
You think they're close to collapse?
I do, and here's why. Travis Kelce is the world's favorite Swiftie. Is not going to be around for too much longer.
We don't even know if he'll be around next year.
Yeah, we don't even know he's going to be around next year. And I would say the Chiefs have more of an opportunity for long-term collapse.
Okay, I like that.
I don't see them as winning the Super Bowl this year.
Okay.
I see the Bills having more of an opportunity for a Super Bowl this year.
Love that. I did say that on another episode, I think. I said that I think this is the year the Bills beat the Chiefs. This is the year Josh Allen gets over the hump. But I like the total collapse move. I might side with you on that, John. I was going to say, we'll just touch on the Chiefs and we'll say, oh, they're low collapse scare there. But I like the 5. Let's go with the total downfall of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Travis Kelce is not the youngest guy in the world, okay?
No.
He's not, and he proved last year that he's kind of fallen on hard times a little bit last year. He didn't have the best.
Yeah, there are a lot of games he did absolutely nothing. He's out there doing cardio. I like that, John. Yeah. I like the collapse idea. All right, you heard it here first. I'm going to quote you. If the Chiefs win 5 games next year, I'm going to call you up and say, John called it. John called the total collapse of the Kansas City Chiefs. So we're riding with the Bills this year, huh?
Everyone
should we make a future bet?
Everyone wants to see it, and I think this is the year. Everyone wants to see it. So.
All right, John. I'm with you. I'll ride with you on that. I appreciate you coming on. See, we didn't hate on the Lions too much, right? I was nice.
No, but I didn't hate on the Packers as much as I wanted.
You threw a line or two out there, which was unnecessary.
Although I think on a scale of 1 to 5, the Packers are a 6 when it comes.
No. We didn't have them in the topics. Moving on. Wait, one last question before I hang up on you. Did Jordan Love take a step back last year? Yes or no? Just.
Yes.
Oh, get out of here. John, look at the stats. Go read a book. All right. He did not. Statistically, he did not. You're just playing with your emotions. You're using your emotions to make a decision. This is what I did when we were growing up. If I talk loud enough, he can't say anything because I just overdid. All right, we're going commercial break. We have to go to a commercial break. The ads are calling my name.
You're going to take another step back because you waited too long to draft a wide receiver. Now you're going to spend a bunch of time.
This might be the first time I'm so excited a commercial is coming up. Okay. Thanks for coming on, John. Talk to you never. Guys, coming up, the college football. The college football video game is coming out, and you won't believe all the new features. No, seriously, you won't believe that. Stay right here on the offensive line. Welcome back, you guys. Last week, the trailer for College Football 26 dropped. The version will have updated rosters, of course, enhanced home field advantage, and the return of high school play in Road to Glory, which was very highly talked. They listened, guys. They listened to your complaints on social media, maybe. This isn't Madden, remember. They are making changes. But with a month to go until the game releases, there's still time to add a few more features, guys. So I came up with a couple that I would suggest. You just hear me out, okay? Let me know your thoughts on these. First of all, the ability to play night games in Road to College Football Playoff was a highly requested change. Change uniform while playing online. That's another big one. When playing with an SEC team, if you miss the playoff, you can cry about it and want the playoff to expand, just like in real life. Another one, a mini game where you play as Dion and throw your own players onto the bus. That'd be a great one. And lastly, and this is very important. This would be a game changer. When playing with UNC, instead of an Ask Madden feature, you have to ask Jordan, which is actually not an option. It's mandatory, and you have to ask her before you do anything. It's just like in real life, you guys. I think these features would be a great addition to the game. Speaking of Bill, I want to touch on that real quick. I don't know if you guys saw his buyout. I almost said his option. His buyout got reduced extensively this week, let's just say, which this was not a shock. So don't think that this came out of nowhere. I was listening all about it this morning on Get Up. It wasn't a surprise, however. It dropped from 10 million to 1 million. Now, the reasoning for this is because he's not as, this is pun intended, as attractive to NFL teams anymore. It's because their coaching situations now wouldn't be elevated by Belichick. How crazy is that? One of the most highly sought after coaches in the NFL is now seen as less attractive. You know why that is? Because for the first time maybe in his life, he has distractions. It's wild. It's literally the opposite of what he's known for. And like I said, it's not a surprise, but it would cost $1 million for an NFL team to buy him out. $1 million. That's crazy to me. That's wild. So the distractions, the Jordan issue, apparently paying off for everyone but him. But he's happy. Hopefully he's happy with his little strawberry lobster. Okay. Lastly, you guys, it's my favorite part of the show. No offense. I'm going to rant about something. This is the time where I can just unleash my anger, frustration on something. But I say no offense because everybody knows when you say no offense, you're not being offensive. I got a good one this week, you guys. No offense, but the Madden cover being fake is a bigger letdown than Arthur Smith finding out there's a depth chart. What do you mean that we're putting Saquon on little ropes and suspending him in the air? It's almost like, would it be cool if that happened in real life so we didn't have to fake it? I was so confused when I saw that video, and I'm sure you guys were too, because the picture looked a little off. And I saw the picture, the angle of the original picture when he actually did the backward turtle. That's what I'm referring to, by the way. Madden cover is Saquon backward turtle. We all know it. The picture itself, it was like an above angle of the actual play. And you could see everybody was facing forward. He was the only one facing backward. You could tell it was a backward turtle. It was electric. This picture is from a lower angle. He's obviously hurtling, because we'll get to that in a second. He's obviously hurtling, but you can't tell it's backwards. And it's a fake. It's remade. Wild. They took out, this was the big point I want to make. They took out the Jags logo on the helmet. So now, kids, we can't go back and tell we have to go back and tell everyone that it was the Jags player who jumped over in case you didn't see the game, in case it's like kids in the future, they're going to be playing Madden and they're going to say, wonder what team got embarrassed by Saquon other than the Giants? The Jags. And I have to go remind everybody now because they took the logo off the helmet. And whoever the actor was that was getting hurdled multiple times over and over and over again by Saquon, hilarious. But the good news is, Agar Joins, you made it on a cover of Madden. I hope your family's proud. All right, you guys, that is the show today. There's a lot of good news in the NFL this week. I feel very good about it. Hopefully this continues because, man, not that the NBA finals aren't fun, but I need something. I'm like an addict. I'm like, give me something to talk about. All right, that's it this week for The Offensive Line, you guys. Be sure to follow us wherever you get your podcasts, and you can watch our full podcast episodes on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. I will see you guys next week. Keep the positive thoughts for NFL talk, and as always, Des didn't catch it.